Knicks watch party, live post-game reaction. Dexter Henry, Brian Fonseca, joined with our wonderful guest, Jeff Eisenband, fantastic golf broadcaster extraordinaire, huge Knicks fan. Watch the game with us tonight. The Knicks get this victory, 2-point victory over the Dallas Mavericks, 113 to 111. East Blue Drew in the comments said this felt like a playoff game. I kind of understand what you were saying, but it shouldn't feel like this against the Mavericks. It's the Mavericks. And it's late.
Without Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg,
Yes,
Kyrie Irving, most notably.
it is late. We're recording this. It is 12:30 Eastern.
And the Knicks had everybody except OG, basically.
Knicks had everybody except for OG, and they had to sweat this out for their first road victory of the year.
Go
Jalen Brunson returned. He dropped 28 points in this one, 11 to 23 shooting. But the real story here is Landry Shamet, who came up big. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but I guarantee that's what our headlines are going to be. ShamWow might be the back page tomorrow.
The real story is Landry Shamet.
It is.
And it's happened multiple times this year.
That's done.
It's so annoying.
Now, our guest here, Jeff, asked a very good question that I think we should lead this post-game talk off with, which is, do you feel good? Two questions. Do you feel good about this? And are there any positives out of the Knicks getting their first road win of the season?
I think the positives are when the Knicks have had their backs against the wall on the road so far this season, they haven't performed in the clutch. Landry Shamet might have been the fourth or fifth guy you might have had on the list of performing in the clutch tonight. I know he had that good game a couple games ago, but I think there's some sort of positive that you have to take away in terms of when the adversity faced the Knicks, they found the open man, they found the open look, they found someone who would make the shot. Because if Landry Shamet misses either of those two threes, we are having a very different conversation right now.
Oh, yeah. A very different conversation.
So he came through. That to me is in the moment when Dallas missed a few free throws, Dallas is not as experienced of a team, not as talented as a team. They should be the team that's making those mistakes down the stretch, but they made mistakes. The Knicks took care of business in the last few minutes, so they somehow got it done. I was critical all night that if they won by 3 or less, it wouldn't feel good. 2 points does not feel good.
No.
But they came through in those final minutes.
Jalen Brunson, first Knicks player with 25-plus points in the first 4 road games of the season. Knicks finally get a road win
after 3 losses on the road.
3 losses on the road here. They finally do get one. Brian just sat here while you said all that, Jeff, and I saw him sit there with a look on his face that was like, yo, I'm not impressed by any of this.
Yeah.
Brian, you're not impressed by any of this. You know what I feel about this game? My shirt says it all. Both teams played hard. That's how I feel about this game. Both teams played hard, or did they? What do you say? Anything that leaves you impressed by this, Brian?
You know how when you watch a boxer who's like a heavy favorite, and then you watch them face like, they're an up-and-coming prospect or like 17-0, 15 knockouts, and they're fighting some journeyman you've never heard of or seen, and it's like, oh, this person's next up, like the guy who's 17-0, and the person that they're fighting is like a minus 3,000 underdog or plus 3,000 underdog or whatever, and you watch the fight and the fighter wins by like majority decision, and you're like, they barely won or they probably didn't deserve to win. What happened there? Like, this is kind of how I feel about this. Like, I'm like, they played not great, and they beat a team who wasn't great. And a win is a win. Like, this is the positive in all of this. Is like, you get a win in the win column. Like, the literal thing you needed from this game was a victory, regardless of how you did it. Does it expose some other things that could be problematic in the future? I mean, the Knicks in totality haven't really had a great week, if you look at it. Coming back to the Orlando game from last week, where Paolo Banchero got hurt and you still lost by a significant amount. Mm-hmm. Coming over to the Heat game where you won a track meet with them and you needed a historic first half from Karl-Anthony Towns and a historic game from Landry Shamet, who looked like Allen Houston in that game. And then you go into the Heat game Monday and you could have won that game, and you were probably playing better in that game than you did in this one, and you didn't end up winning. The Heat, didn't have Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, you didn't have Jalen Brunson. So it wasn't necessarily a wash because you still had Karl-Anthony Towns in that game, didn't have OG Anunoby, but you had enough to win and you didn't. And then in this one, they at least got it done. So they need to just start playing better. They need to string together more consistently good performances. On the road, it's been a struggle. I don't think it's a home road thing specifically. I just think they need to play better consistently. This week's been kind of uneasy. Also, the Memphis game, we talked about it. Like, That was
close that game well.
Yeah, they didn't close that game well. They were the first half of the Grizzlies game was some of the best Knicks basketball we've seen all season long. And it feels like ever since that first half, it's been a little just uneasy, weird, not consistent, missing shots, missing a lot of free throws in this game too. Had other chances to put this away, and then Dallas kept, fighting. Credit to them. I think we should credit Dallas more than we are, as a matter of fact, because Dallas, they do have NBA players. They're missing Cooper Flagg, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis, but they do have PJ Washington, who's legitimately good. Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford played together for the fourth time today. That mattered. That ended up mattering, I think, more than people would suggest. Najee Marshall was good. Brandon Williams is legit. D'Angelo Russell had a really good night. Like, they have players who can play. But this is a team that you have a lot more talent than on paper, and it didn't look that way in this game.
It didn't, and now you've got some of the Mavericks fans or gamblers, or y'all could be both, have entered the chat saying the referee needs to get suspended. The Mavericks got robbed. The Mavericks missed free throws down the stretch too, who had done a good job at the line. They missed 3 or 4 free throws in the last 4 minutes.
They put themselves in that spot too.
They put themselves in the spot, and that was a good offensive foul call. There's no way you can watch that and say that was a bad call. Like, I was shocked at it live. I was like, oh, the Knicks might have called one. But no. The Knicks did not get a break. That was a good call.
Wrap around, man.
There's no getting out of here. I don't feel great about it. I think, you said a lot of stuff, Brian. They do need to play better. They haven't really played well. But
this past week. Yeah. I don't want to say they haven't.
They are 9-5. They've won 9 out of their 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
They won their first road game. We'll see if this can give. They got to play much better against Orlando on Saturday afternoon.
Better than they did last time, for sure.
Absolutely have to.
Some of their peers are like Detroit's getting it done. You know what I mean? Orlando's kind of starting to figure it out a little bit.
They're starting to feel good.
So they do have to. And Miami quietly, they beat Golden State again today, rising up the standings a little bit. Like they have to figure some things out. I don't want to be overly dramatic.
They have to play more consistently.
Yeah, they have to play. They have to play to their talent level. Like, this is a team that could be the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
I think that's the best point that's been made, because they played to the talent of the Mavericks at points tonight. And you talked about the Grizzlies game, and if there's a critique maybe on the Knicks season, it's that they're playing to their talent. Because you think about some of those early games against the Cavs, the Celtics, even the Bucks game that they lost on the road, those were high-quality basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
That was not what we saw tonight necessarily, and some of its adjustments. We said the last 2 games, Karl Anthony Towns has not shot the ball well.
Nope.
So when you're not shooting well, your Towns, get it inside. Get the ball inside. Do what you do best. Use your physicality. And he's done that at points this season. You have to adjust. I said that Mike Brown made a really good adjustment. I thought that Deuce McBride was in with that lineup. He didn't see what he liked. He put Landry Shamet in, and that was a crucial adjustment. But you've got to make those adjustments as the game goes on. And it's something that we talked about in the first half. A lot more players playing, a little bit more of a rotation in the first half, but maybe you did give away 3-4 points that you could have had there in the first half because you're testing some things out. So it's not a bad thing to test some things out, but at some point, when is it going to, will it be 25 games in, 40 games in, 60 games in? When are the Knicks going to have, okay, this is what we're rolling with in terms of a line?
And I think you figure, I'll give it this. I think you got to get to the top of the next year, 2026 calendar year. I think that's when you start figuring some things out. You'll have a good sample size.
Christmas.
Look, you made a great point, Jeff.
Yeah.
Landry Shamet, 9 points tonight. Obviously, 6 huge ones in the fourth quarter.
Should have been 2 more. He missed the free throw.
Should have 2 more. Landry Shamet, as much as we're praising him, Landry Shamet, as plus minus does not tell you everything. Landry Shamet was a -10 tonight.
Gershon did Gershon Yabusele lead the team in plus minus?
He did at plus 15.
That was not what we saw.
It's okay. He had 4.27 from the field, 0-5 from downtown. Landry Shamet hit the biggest buckets of the game. You talked about, Jeff, about the fact that Coach Brown made the switch, which is, I don't want to call it a gutsy call. It's kind of a thing you see in a game. You saw something not work.
Listen,
he had a good feel of it. It feels like he's got a good pulse on what Shamet can do. But then to trust him, and when Shamet rewards you in this way, it makes you say, okay, we can trust him more as we move forward. He rewarded him. He put me in the game, coach, and he did what he's supposed to do.
And it's also unfortunate because he's played really well this year. But who missed the 2 critical shots in the last game down the stretch? Deuce McBride.
Right.
McBride.
So there's something, when all is said, you're talking about the numbers not telling the whole story. Deuce hasn't played his best basketball in the clutch, and there was a change that was made today. And so we'll see. Obviously he didn't have to be the guy tonight. Jalen Brunson was back, so you weren't trying to find that spark from the guard position. The other thing that we haven't talked about, and we're going to keep talking about, is OG Anunoby not being in the lineup.
Huge.
You're missing your best perimeter defender. You're missing such an anchor to this team.
Yeah.
And look, injuries happen in basketball. You can't just sit around all season and make an excuse about that. But this team is going to have to figure out how to play better defense on the perimeter without OG Anunoby. And if it's Josh Hart that steps up, if it's Mikal Bridges that steps up, Yabusele that steps up, someone's got to step up and be that outer anchor to the team.
Here's one more thing I wanted to point out real quick.
Go.
This is a betting stat, but it's also a stat that encompasses like how a team is playing in a specific quarter. In the fourth quarter, there are only 2 teams worse than the Knicks at covering fourth quarter spread. That's the Washington Wizards and the Sacramento Kings, which is an indicator of you're not playing well in fourth quarters. And this is something that we saw.
You don't think those teams are?
No, but this is also
another
something.
yawn.
This is something that we saw. Yeah, because
he brought up the Wizards.
It's almost that's true.
Blame it on the Wizards.
Also almost 1 a.m. But like they didn't close that well in the first game against Cleveland. Boston, they even messed around and let Boston get back into that one. Obviously, you lose the 3 straight with Miami, Milwaukee, Chicago,
Memphis.
And then you go on to Memphis. Because after that, they took care of Minnesota, they took care of Washington, Brooklyn, they got it together, and that's where they looked like they were really firing. They won 4 straight, a couple soft matchups in there, but still, wins are wins. Memphis is where they messed around a little bit. So yeah, over the last 8-9 days or so, it's been a little uneasy. It's the ebbs and flows of the season. They can get back to where they were before, but this next game against Orlando, and we're going to talk about it more tomorrow, it's a very big one for obvious reasons. You're trying to get your lick back against a team that started to play better and figure it out. Paolo Banchero's not back yet, but this team has looked pretty good when one of them, in terms of one of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner is on the floor. Not that they're necessarily better without one, but they haven't figured out how to be great with both of them consistently this year yet. With the new acquisition of Desmond Bane, they're still figuring things out, as a lot of teams are. But that's the big game you have on this road trip. That's the one that you circle because after that you have the Nets and the Hornets, which should be winnable. The Nets in particular, the Hornets actually have enough talent that they can make that a little tricky, especially if Dallas could.
Yeah, we'll see. Look, the Knicks in this game, I think you talked about the defensive issues here too. This was a game in which they only shot 29% from downtown. The Mavericks shot 16 of 44, 36% from downtown. So Knicks had 12 made threes. The Mavericks did have their free throw struggles in the end, even though they shot 83%. Again, the Knicks only shot what they shoot from the free throw line, 19 of 35.
Oh.
That is 54%, guys.
Oh.
That is the main reason for me in this game why this game is close. It was 16 free throws.
And a lot of those free throws are missed down the stretch.
A lot missed down the stretch. 16 free throws and they missed this game. This game is not, if they hit 8 of those, half of those, we're talking about a different game. I know Mitchell Robinson missed 6, right? I understand that, but you got to hit your free throws from the guys that can. They got to, there's things, as Brian is saying, that they have to clean up here. They've got to definitely clean up. And you're right.
They have time.
Without OG Anunoby, this is a team coming in tonight, according to Cleaning the Glass, 17th in the league in defensive rating. They've got to clean up things on defense. I think they will. You said look for positives.
Yeah.
You can look for negatives if you want, too. I mean,
yeah. I think a positive.
We don't work for the Knicks. Who gives a shit?
I think a positive is that what you said about the change, that Mike Brown trusts Landry Shamet. In a way that, and I don't want to do this for all the fans out here, and I'm not trying to bring the Tibbs comparison, in a way that Tibbs couldn't even trust Landry Shamet to not be the 9th man.
To be fair, Landry Shamet could have hit a shot last year in the regular season.
So.
But he was coming off the injury, exactly.
Shoulder to start.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
he started playing good towards the end of the season.
How could you rely on him in those big spots?
That is fair. But what I like is that if Brown, this is my thing, if Brown sees something in someone doing something, he's not going to just, hey, we'll just stick it to this plan. This player is going to play all the time down the stretch. Hey, Deuce doesn't have it. I think Shamet does.
Yep.
He had a feel. I can't wait to hear his comments after the game on this, but I think that's a positive out of this. The other positive, major positive, obviously, is Jalen Brunson came back and looks healthy. That is a major positive. Now, don't like that he had to play the amount of minutes that he had. Do not like that he had to carry the amount of load that he did tonight. I think you could say that's a negative.
And he only had 1 point, I believe, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So that could have contributed, not necessarily fresh.
Not as fresh. Conditioning might not be right. Negatives, I think I agree with you completely. Karl-Anthony Towns has got to be better. I thought he played a better second half than he did first half.
Because he started
attacking.
He started attacking.
And I do like him shooting. He got up. How many threes he got up to? He got up 6 threes, hit 1. Right, 6-16. Not a great shooting night. I don't want to kill him because he did have 2 steals. He did have 6 assists for Cat. He did have 14 boards. But it didn't feel like a good game.
Yeah, but
granted, nothing about this game felt good.
Hassan Whiteside used to get a lot of rebounds.
Okay,
one of your favorite players of all time. Your favorite players.
Yeah.
I would say Towns still played he didn't play a low IQ game. He played. He missed 3. He was 1 of 6 from 3, but he took good shots. He just didn't make them. So it's not like we're sitting here going, what was he thinking in all these moments?
Yeah.
To the Shamet point, because I said Jordan Clarkson, what an upgrade from Campaign in the same sort of role.
Yeah.
You can say Landry Shamet this year, an upgrade from Landry Shamet last year. And when you're in the offseason and you're a fan, you don't get excited about a guy taking a step forward or being healthier like Shamet, but that is what the Knicks got. Every year they get Deuce McBride getting a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes fans don't equate that in the offseason, that Landry Shamet has essentially been an addition to the Knicks rotation this year that they didn't have in the regular season last year, that they really only had when they made the switch in, I believe, Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
And remember, like Shamet, because his numbers will look good now if you look at it, but up until the last 2 weeks of the season, he was shooting 32% from 3. And then he started playing really well down the stretch. This is why people thought he deserved minutes. It was like from March 26th on, those last couple weeks, he went crazy a couple of games. There was like a 6 for 9.
Yeah, he played
7 for 11. He played more, and they were also like winding down and playing other guys and things like that. But once it got to the playoffs, people felt like he deserved to be in there sooner. He was good in like the Pacers series. But other than that, I was kind of like, why does he deserve minutes? This year, especially this week, Shamet's had a hell of a last 7 days or whatever it's been.
But I think you've always seen how Brown has trusted him from the time when the games that Mitch doesn't play, he'll put him in the starting lineup. There's a trust there with him. He's a solid vet. He's not going to mess things up. He's going to play hard. He's either the best defender? No. But he moves his feet. He'll compete.
Yeah.
He makes the right play. I just think there's something. I think it's less for me about Shamet and more for me about Brown's ability to see what players he should trust and give guys chances. I'm sure Mike Brown is going to talk to Deuce McBride. It's not to bring his confidence down, but it's to still keep him in the fold. Deuce is going to have his moments. And let's not get too – I don't think any of us are getting too crazy. I'm not saying – and somebody texted me this other day, like, start Shamet. Shamet should start every game even when OG comes back. Relax. But
who's coming off the bench?
Yeah, I don't know.
McHale?
Yeah, I don't
know.
They actually wanted Mitchell Robinson off the bench. That was the point.
I mean, look, no, but I like it makes basketball sense to some degree.
Shamet's a good player. I think what people should take about this is Mike Brown, I think, is going to have a good pulse in the team. Even the little things that we're saying, like him playing DOR just to get a minute or two in the half. He seems to have a pulse in his team. He's willing to try to figure things out. That should be a takeaway. This is when the time you should be figuring things out, as where we are in November. This is where this team should be. Do I love that it was only a 2-point win against the Mavericks? Absolutely not. I don't think anybody feels good about that. But hey, this is not about style points. You got to get the win, but you can't look like this against Orlando. That's what I will say.
I mean, you can't look like this against any team you think will be in the playoffs, because this is not a playoff team. But it does say something about your team overall and your talent level, that you're able to figure it out and win, even if the other team gifted you 18 turnovers, even if they missed some free throws down the stretch that they didn't during the game. But good teams find a way to win when they're playing like shit. And the Knicks kind of played like shit, or their level of shit, but they won the game. And if you're a good team, you still figure out how to win this game regardless. I think Anthony had a comment like we should talk more about how the Knicks get everyone's best shot. I would say that's overrated, because yes, teams may be hyped because the Knicks plays them. Like Oklahoma City gets everyone's best shot. They're the defending champions. like Oklahoma City gets their Dex is getting gifts here. Oklahoma City is getting people's best shot. Like I think that's overrated. I just think you got to play better and more consistently. And we'll see what happens. This Orlando game is going to be big. It's early still. Don't want to overreact to everything you see before Christmas because a lot of it, a lot of these things are things we might just forget about a couple months because we're talking about every game.
But that Orlando game is going to be important because, and you brought this up a little bit, they're really, you could say there's a big four in the East this year. The Knicks, the Cavs, the Magic, the Pistons. I know you kind of put the Bucks in there as well.
I don't.
But if those are the big four, then without the Celtics, without the Pacers really being as relevant this year, I don't think the Heat will be there at the end. I know they're getting more out of their team than they are right now. That Magic game is going to be big. You've already lost to this team. Remember, the Knicks last year couldn't beat the Cavs in the regular season, couldn't beat the Celtics in the regular season. They were able to figure it out against the Celtics in the playoffs. But these are going to be games that you're priming even in November for the postseason. You're seeing how you stack up with these top teams. The Magic are without Paolo Banchero, but the Knicks are without OG Anunoby. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Look, it's early in the season. You've seen some things in the NBA. I saw somebody in the chat just say Toronto's having a pretty good season. Yeah, Toronto's
pretty good.
Toronto's leading the Atlantic Division. I like them to get over their wins.
Yeah, me too.
I said you and I talked about.
I thought they could be like a 5-6 seed before the season started.
They have a bunch of good players. The Knicks are going to get teams to challenge them. They know where the Knicks were projected to finish. Teams are going to challenge them. Now,
teams are going to look at the Knicks being like, yo, you ain't that much better than us.
But one of the things that I need to see from this Knicks team going forward, and this goes to after what you're saying against Orlando. Orlando's got a lot of length. We know they can defend. You and I thought they could be an issue. We'll preview this tomorrow on our live show. But when you're playing the bad teams, you got to kill them. You know what we want to see? We want to see Ariel Hakpurdy in there. We want to see Mohamed Diawara get some run. When you're playing at MSG Brooklyn, you gotta destroy the Nets. When you're playing at MSG North Carolina, you gotta destroy. You gotta destroy them. The Knicks have a couple of MSGs around the country. You have to destroy them. Yeah. And I'm not gonna go crazy. This team was just integrating Brunson back in. Brian's right. You get the win.
Brunson don't need no integration.
But it's
he come back in the game, and Brunson is going to be Brunson.
It's the second game of a road trip that you had a day off. It's not a back-to-back. Nope. Second game of a road trip. You just played 7 games at home. So there's not really – this looked more like, oh, man, trap game. It's the 5th game of a 6-game road trip.
It looked like that. If you didn't know, you would think it was That's fair.
It didn't feel
they had
like –
a rest day, too.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's there's not really an excuse. We talked all night. What did it feel like? Someone said a playoff game. Someone said a preseason game.
Because they were stressed.
I'll go back to Charlotte. It kind of felt like a Tuesday 7:00 game in Charlotte, and not a nationally televised prime time. Sort of. There should have been a little bit more hoopla around this game and some energy. And the Knicks needed maybe a touch more energy in those first 3 quarters to get to that Ariel Hakpurdy minutes sort of spot.
Yeah.
The one thing we talked about in the offseason, Jeff, because we talked a lot about Brian and I did an episode on how we were going to have the minutes for this team. And I said, you know what helps with minutes? Oh, blowing the teams out you're supposed to blow out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about it. So guys can rest in the fourth quarter. And when you don't do that, then you put more weight. It's not just about Jalen Brunson.
Well, Tibbs is listening to this going, what are you talking about? You can do that?
It's like, you can do that? Yeah, you're putting more wear and tear on Jalen Brunson. You're putting more wear and tear on Mikal Bridges, who always plays a lot of minutes. OG Anunoby when he's healthy. Cat, don't play with your food. That's the thing this Knicks team is. Listen, trust me, guys. I'm sure the coaching staff is going to preach this. Because this is what I bet. I bet you Mike Brown went in the locker room and was like, Landry Shamet, you get the game ball.
You get the Tims.
I don't even know who gets the Tims tonight, who had a great defensive game. I guess I'll give it to Mikal Bridges.
It would be Shamet.
Could Mitch it's not a good Mitch defensive game.
Mitch
but
Josh Hart?
I'll give it to Josh Hart. I'll be fine
Mikal?
with that. Whoever gets it. But you know what he said after that? He's going to be like, we should beat them by a lot more.
Yeah.
And he will be right.
You're going to need those Tims. It's getting cold outside. Snow might be
honestly, he should hold on to the Tims and be like, no, you know
what? I like that. No, but
this was not a win.
Yeah,
this was not a win.
Yeah. No one.
We haven't seen. Did they do it on the road? We haven't actually seen the Tims on the road.
Again, the big thing for me though, like in terms of there's a lot you don't want to overreact to. But one thing I'm keeping track of, again, against the fourth quarter spread is just an indicator of how you're closing. And the Knicks are third worst in the NBA right now. Only Sacramento, Washington is worse. They're also, right now, including this game, the only team in the NBA that hasn't covered a game on the road, 0-5 against the spread, which is an indicator like this team is underperforming on the road, like by the market, by projections, all these different things. And they are because they've only won one game so far against the worst team that they've seen on the road.
You know what's funny about it? I'm listening to you hear that about the fourth quarter spread, which you brought up again. A lot about it, too, is like you don't get big enough leads to hold on to in the fourth quarter or try to put teams away. That's also we're kind of going to the same thing here.
Yeah,
you don't ever build up enough leads to have these
like,
chances.
It's a betting stat, but it's not. It's really not. It's an indicator of how you're closing games, and it has to get better. And it can't be. It wasn't today because Shamet bailed them out. Landry Shamet bailed them out, but it can't be Brunson save us or this person save us. Like you should put these teams away sooner. You know what I mean? Like play to your talent level. Like ultimately, all these other teams are going to look at you as beatable, and you have to give them reasons why they shouldn't feel that way. Because there are other teams in the East who like they'll catch you slipping, and there's a lot of teams like you're better than them in terms of talent up to top to bottom. But in a playoff series, like Toronto wouldn't be easy if they're healthy. Detroit wouldn't be easy if they're healthy. We saw that last year. This year they're better. Miami, they're not even healthy yet. They're 9-6. Like this could be something that lingers.
Look, the Knicks. Jeff, go ahead. You gonna say? Well,
the roles reversed starting with that Pistons series last year, where you went like I go back to the first season that Brunson was on the Knicks, right? When the Knicks won the first round series against Cleveland, and then they played that second round series against Miami. Mm-hmm. And I know they should have been favored in the series against Miami.
They were.
But it felt like
they were.
The Knicks are scrappy. They got past Cleveland. They might scrap all the way to the finals. And then you saw it when the Knicks played the Pistons last year. Okay, the Knicks aren't the scrappy team anymore. The Knicks are the talented team.
Yeah.
The team that's supposed to win. Yep. And a couple games you've already seen it this year. The Knicks are not the scrappy team anymore. They're the team that needs to not be taken off guard by these teams that out-hustle and outperform. The Mavs outperformed what they should have done tonight. The Knicks underperformed. Yep. And the margin became just so slim for the Knicks to actually get the win.
So with all, and I guess to put a bow on this, what I'll say to that point is, these games are going to happen though. This is the thing I always say to fans all the time. You watch these games in season, regular season long, you're gonna have a disappointing game. I remember Brian and I, we did a live last year after the Knicks almost blew a game to Charlotte. And Mikal Bridges got benched at the end of the game, and everybody was worried about that game.
John Salon, who's in the G League now, went crazy against the Knicks.
These things happen, and I understand why fans are frustrated about it. I do. However, what you have to watch is how does the team respond to this?
Yeah.
If this team comes out and has the right effort on Saturday, late afternoon against the Magic, Knicks fans are going to be feeling good. If they do that, if they take care of business against Brooklyn, if they take care of business in Charlotte, and they win these next 3 games, and it's a 4-1 road trip, and they're sitting at 12-5, and you're eating your Thanksgiving dinner, you're gonna be thankful for the 12-5. You'll be fine with the 12-5.
Well
now,
done.
On the other side, if they lose to Orlando, dare I say lose to Brooklyn?
The Orlando one specifically, but
I had to put it out there.
If they lose to the Nets,
they lose on the rest of this road trip.
They lose to the Nets, you might get an emergency show on Tuesday. I mean, we can't record next Thursday, so
you don't know what'll happen. We'll see. My point is, things can change. It's about how teams. I always watch. It's adversity. This is a little adversity, and I'm sure Mike Brown is preaching that. But it's how does this team respond, right? How do they respond to this now? Is this sort of a wake-up call? Okay, we finally got one on the road, but we were not impressive.
Yeah.
We lost. You know what I want to see? I want to see some damn pride. You lost to Orlando. Paolo went out early. You talked about it. We
hit him back
at the Garden.
Yeah.
Hit him back. What you got?
Hit him back.
This is what Knicks fans, I think, want to see. I think that's fair. I think this is a game where if you tell me you don't feel great about this game, I get it. I get it 100%. If you tell me you feel great about this game, you're now the biggest Landry Shamet fan in the world, you're going to buy a 44 Knicks jersey, I understand it too. I wouldn't do that, but
you might need to customize it.
Yeah. You might need I don't think they're out here selling the Landry Shamet jerseys. And that's no shade to Landry Shamet.
Yeah.
Because he's been really good. He's been a really good role player. And
he's dependable.
You got to hit on those margins if you're the Knicks. But any final thoughts, fellas, on what we saw tonight, what's going forward, Hey, wait, did you hit your parlay?
No, I just Towns
Cat let
didn't
you down.
didn't hit the 2
Cat
threes.
let you down.
So,
Damn.
so he
that-
took
that-
6. He took 6. But he couldn't hit 2.
That's probably one thing we should talk about. Cat has to be, in terms of needing to be more consistent. Cat has been pretty uneasy this year, in totality.
I had Howard Beck on the show the other day, and I asked him about who was the player that he thought needed to really step up with Brunson out, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, obviously offensively, it's got to be Cat." Which I'm like, yeah, this was Brunson and OG out. To be honest, I was saying that he said it's got to be Cat.
Has to.
But can Cat have these games where he looks like he did in the first half against Miami? Excuse me, on Friday. Where
Then disappeared for a lot of the second half.
Yeah, but
that's expected.
But that's what's frustrating for the fans. He's got that, and you just saw it in the first half, and then you don't see it. That's what frustrates the fan base, and I do understand that. But Cat, it's got to be better. It's got to take it to the rim more, like you said.
I think it's adjustments, and you got to figure out what the identity of this team is. Remember, the over-under tonight for the Knicks was 120 and a half. They scored 113 points against this Dallas Mavericks team that felt like it was lacking a little bit defensively. So the conversations changed a little bit that the Knicks have been this Knicks team is an offensive outpouring. The offense that they had during the homestand was incredible, like nothing we've seen. But we also have to remember, other than Brunson and Cat, essentially this team was built around defense over the last few years. And I think that there needs to be a little bit of a meshing of the two, getting the offense and the defense to both click at the same time. Today, it felt like they were each a step behind.
I agree.
And some of that comes back to the rotations that we talked about. Yeah. Because there's certain players that are in there for offense. You have Landry Shamet play. He's going to give you better offense than defense. But then you have Deuce McBride, or you have Mikal Bridges, or you have guys getting extra minutes. They're more defensive players. So the Knicks need to figure all that out, because you said you're going to have games like this. Well, Knicks almost had essentially 5 road games like this. I know that this is the Mavs are the least of those opponents, but at some point you've got to show up on the road. You've got to play the offense that you've played at home. You got to get the job done. So they saw one go through. We'd be having a much different conversation tonight. We were moments away from having a little bit more of a negative conversation now. But now you got to bring the pendulum up, especially on the road, with some of these games other than the Magic game, reasonable road games, and at least have some momentum going up.
I do think one thing I will say about this team offensively before we go, I do think their offensive process is not bad, because I think you saw that specifically in the first half of this game tonight. They're still getting into the paint. They're still spraying it out. They're getting good looks from 3. Mm-hmm. It didn't go down. So they're not getting away from the process, and I think that's what's encouraging to me. I can live with there's going to be nights you don't make shots. The couple things I can't live with is like not taking care of the ball, not hitting free throws. And I'll harp again on the free throws. That is what,
because they did take care of the ball.
They did take care of the ball. They did not hit free throws, and that is what hurt them in a major way tonight.
Untimely fouls too. They were sending Dallas to the line a lot late in the game.
This is very true. I see somebody in the chat. Nick asks, Cat shot enough for you to win? I mean, shooting enough is the thing. He didn't make enough, right? Like you got to make.
Missed too many free throws.
Missed too many free throws too. Cat missed free throws too.
Yeah,
we talked about. So you can't have those things when it happens. Ooh, that's a good block. Wow. Sorry. So in the Sports Center top 10. That was pretty impressive.
That was in the G League too.
Stockton
King shout out.
Stockton King shout out there. But hey, Jeff, you're one of the few people to sit in this chair. Not few. This is a good amount.
1-0.
1-0.
I'm the only person to see a road win in this chair.
This season. That's true. That is true.
Change the narrative here.
Yeah,
that is true.
We were here for Knicks Bucks, and again, great first half. Then they were like, "Wait, you're building a wall around Giannis? All right, we got something for you. Here are the shooters."
That wasn't good.
And
Anthony Gallo was
didn't adjust
for that one. So yeah, you're right. You're the first person to see a road victory while we did a watch party.
They got the Bucks again soon, by the way,
on next Friday.
So that's you got multiple payback opportunities.
Yeah, Knicks got to take advantage.
Got the Heat again in December. Orlando coming up, obviously. Toronto, Boston coming up. You got Charlotte twice coming up. Utah, Indiana. You got some winnable games on this schedule.
Yeah, there's a world in which if the Knicks take care of the business, and we talking about early December, they could have fattened up their record and should be sitting at the top of the East, which is what people want to see. And sucks. A lot of the season comes down to how they play against the other elite teams, the Houstons, the Oklahoma Cities, the Denvers, the Cavs. A lot of that stuff.
That's how it should be, to be honest.
And those are the games we'll definitely be doing watch parties for, and we'll definitely see you on. Jeff, did you have a good time?
A spectacular time. Thanks
good.
for having me on your program.
No, I'm glad to have you.
Absolutely.
We got to have you back. Before you go, what do you think people are going to see next year in golf that might blow their mind? Do you think there's something in golf people should be keeping their eye on as we look to the season in 2026?
I just think people need to keep watching Scottie Scheffler, because if you're not, I know a lot of Tiger Woods people out there, but right now what Scotty's doing is as close to what Tiger
I think it's the closest
has ever done. So, Scotty won 2 majors this past year, which was more than the year before. He didn't win as many times in the PGA Tour, but we haven't seen a top player who's separated this much from the field. So over the next few years, every year you're going, can he win 3 majors in a year? Can we finally see a guy kind of attack that season-long Grand Slam? So he's the guy to watch. If Scotty comes out hot next season, you never know.
He's dope. One other thing I got for you. I was a big Tiger Woods fan. Does Tiger win another major?
He's not going to win another major.
I should let go of the hope.
But Tiger is never done, and everyone wants to say, they say, Tiger, just stop. Fans want to say, they're like, they can't watch this guy. He's had, how many back surgeries, how many shoulder surgeries. He just ruptured his Achilles, but the guy doesn't know anything else.
All I want to see, Jeff? This is all I want from Tiger now, because I would just let go that he's not winning a major. I'm with you on this. I just want him to make the cut at the Masters.
I think
what I'm saying? Or just be in contention. If he's somehow in contention on the final day, that's even asking a lot. Just make the cut.
I think he will make one more cut at the Masters.
That's all I want.
One thing about golf, different than a sport like basketball, top players, imagine Michael Jordan could still play 2 minutes in every playoff, in every NBA playoff still, because he won a championship or something like that. Like Tiger can play the Masters for as long as he wants, the rest of his life. He says he doesn't want to be a ceremonial golfer. People want to see it, right? They want to see him, even if he just plays 2 rounds at the Masters, they just want to watch him walk down. It'd be like letting a guy come into Madison Square Garden, who won in Madison Square Garden, and play in that arena, that venue. But I still think he gets it done, one more cut at the Masters, and I think he wins on PGA Tour Champions, which is the 50 plus.
50 plus.
He can ride a golf cart 3 rounds. He says he doesn't want to ride a golf cart. He doesn't think it's like real golf. Someone's going to put him in there. You can do it, play. You don't have to walk. And I think we see a couple more highlights, I think.
All right, I hope so. Tiger fan, I wouldn't mind seeing that. All right.
James Franklin got hired by Virginia Tech?
Yes, he did. James Franklin is hired by Virginia Tech.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know how I feel about Penn State. Anyway, that is Jeff Eisenman. Check him out, all the good stuff he does with the PGA Tour. Fantastic job there. Brian and I, we were doing a live show today. I just realized the time. Later today. We will have a guest to help us break down the game against the Orlando Magic on Saturday. That should be a good one. Jeff, we appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
You had a good time. You yawned less than me. I think I had the most yawns here tonight. I
just did one now.
Yeah. You were just trying to hold one back. I caught you on that. You just tried to hold back from the yawn. I think I yawned 3 times tonight. I don't know what the counter is. Our team was doing that. I'm sure they have a whole bunch of beautiful stuff on there.
Hopefully, I'll be in bed within the next hour.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Not
everybody, thank you for rocking with us. If you watch us,
thank you
from
very much.
Tampa, Argentina, everywhere. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Hit that like button.
At your job, apparently, on
East
the
Blue
clock.
Drew on the clock.
Yeah.
Don't get fired, East Blue. We appreciate you. We will catch you next time. Another edition of New York Got Game. Peace.
And thanks for watching New York Got Game. Boom shakalaka.